that navigation of your own triggers or your own instincts is what's going to make somebody memorable, as opposed to somebody who would say, I had if somebody came afterwards and said, that guy right there did that, you go, oh man, I was going to say something to him, but you didn't.
Right.
And that's the difference between somebody being great and somebody being so-so. Hello, everyone. Hola, mis amigos. You're listening to Oh My God Hi, Hijo de Dios. Hola. With me, George Lopez. Porque, ¿sabes qué? Let's do the show. Porque I got a lot of things to do. I gotta go to that dry cleaner ahí. My kid fell. Se pegó la cabeza. I gotta go get some Neosporin Paul.
You know what George is?
Oh, I'm sure he's around here somewhere.
What's his name? George?
Lopez.
George Lopez.
Oh my God!
OMG.
OMG! Hi!
Oh my God, hi!
Attention listeners. You guys ready to be blown away? You asked for it and they listened. Our friends at Manscaped just relaunched the Ultra Smooth Package. That's right, baby. It is back. Your new favorite tool and complement to the Lawnmower 4.0, your favorite sort of buzz razor, to keep your boys smooth while looking and feeling their best. This is a brand new specialized groin shaving kit. It's here to help you buff, protect, and shave your most sensitive areas. It's time to crop that bush of yours and get right to the roots with a discount just for you from Manscaped. Get 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com with the code OMGHI. Hey everybody, producer Grant here. Just telling you what you're about to listen to, what you're about to watch is part one of a two-part episode with Trevor Wallace. George and he had a great time, really hit it off. So we're turning this one into two. So be sure to check out this episode this week, you're about to, and tune in next week for the second half. So without further ado, here's part one.
Sit in here.
You're welcome to hang out.
It's up to you.
Come on in here.
Yeah.
This isn't one of those places where the people are like,
Everybody's welcome.
Everybody's welcome here. Do you know Gil?
We just met.
Just met.
Gil
Less than a minute
is a,
ago.
do you know anything about him?
I'm about to.
Oh, yeah, you're about to.
He's an overweight Mexican sitting right next to me.
No, that's true. But also that Gil was one of the two detectives that captured Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker.
Dang. Dang, that's a credit right there.
Is that
you were gonna be like,
I mean, if you do the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, or if you do Letterman, this is that. What would that credit be like? That would almost be that's performing for the president almost.
Shit, I don't know. I'm just happy to be here, brother. I'm nobody special. You know, I don't.
You know
I don't
that him and his partner. There's a documentary on Netflix, the Night Stalker documentary that he's in there.
Dang. And I thought you were cool, man. This dude's
No, this
cool.
is way cooler. Are you guys into true crime or not? Are you guys into true crime?
Nah, I want to be. It sounds cool.
You are? She said a little bit.
I want to be.
She is and you're not. Oh, why do girls love true crime?
They have a fascination with murder. They're like, there's something about it. Murders are hot, you know? It's like there's a fascination behind it, you know? Because it feels good to be wanted, you know?
Okay. Oh,
feels,
you know what?
ladies
Will you
like-
introduce our guests? I'm already vibing. I'm already.
Of course.
I love it.
yeah.
I love the vibe already.
Also, Trevor Wallace today joining us on
here.
the podcast. Comedian,
We here.
actor, podcaster, host of the Stiff Socks podcast.
Stiff Socks Podcast, yeah.
Joining us today. We're excited to have you.
Thank you, dude. This is awesome.
Let's talk about why did you name it the Stiff Socks Podcast?
Stiff Socks Podcast. Man, honestly, everybody thinks we have some like crazy story. You know, it's just kind of like me and my buddy, the co-producer, we were just riffing. Like, what should
But
we
he
call
was a
it?
buddy from where? Like, how long have you known him?
Stand-up comedy. I just know him
Okay.
through comedy. He's a New York guy. Michael Blaustein, also a funny guy in the stand-up world. We met at an open mic like 4 years ago, and we were just talking, shooting the shit, and something clicked. Like our chemistry, we were just talking and talking.
Yep.
And then we were like, the next day he called me and he's like, "Hey man, you want to start a podcast?" And you know, you hear that phrase so
Sure,
many
of course.
times in this damn city. That's the new kind of like start a band type of thing. So
It is a new start.
Yeah,
hey,
that's-
Gil,
that's modern day.
It is a new start a band type of thing.
Yeah, it is. You know, probably about 3 years ago, I was asked if I wanted to do my own podcast. I don't know nothing. I don't know shit about this business. I don't know nothing about it. And the offer was there. I said, nah, thank you. I don't know. I don't want to do that stuff.
But also, I would say that you don't have to know shit about anything other than just be just have a chemistry.
yeah, that's
right?
all that matters.
That's all that matters. And they'll find you.
It doesn't matter what camera you use, what recording.
No.
If there's good chemistry, people will listen.
Yeah.
So we were just riffing, going back and forth, and then we're like, dude, we should, you know, because I wanted to do it on my own. I was gonna do it myself, talk straight to the camera, edit it myself, and I was like, that's a lot of work. I'd rather strum a guitar with George Lopez.
But is that more YouTube? Do you play guitar?
No, I don't.
But is that more YouTube than podcast or what? Like okay, so I watch true crime stuff on YouTube like almost all day.
Yeah.
But I don't listen to their podcasts. So are you guys
We do
YouTube
both.
and podcast?
Yeah.
And IG and all that stuff?
All of it, yeah.
Okay,
So,
okay.
yeah, we post it on everywhere. Like, our TikTok is how a lot of people find our
TikTok. There you go.
our
Yeah, yeah.
podcast. You know, it's like, it's crazy to think that the word podcast sounds so outdated. You know,
Yeah.
everybody thinks of like just like transcripts and old shit, like black
Right.
and white TVs. But it's like, bro, we got a podcast.
Wait a minute. But what was the first TV that you had? I had a black and white.
Black
TV.
and white.
How thick was that boy?
That
big,
motherfucker
big
thick.
boy.
But also,
Heavy as
I
hell,
remember
too.
they had some kind of stuff they put in front of it, make it look color.
wait a minute.
What
I
the
was just gonna
hell?
say that. Check
You-
this out.
filters
Trev.
before
Check this out.
Instagram?
No. Not even a filter.
You had
They used to
sepia?
sell a fucking piece of glass at
Yes.
Thrifty that the top was blue, the middle was clear, and the bottom was green.
Yes.
So that if you were watching a show, the sky was above and the middle would be just natural, and the bottom. Do you remember you could and attach it to your screen, and you would stick it to your TV screen?
Oh, man. So you said Thrifty. Is that the same place that does ice cream? Thrifty's ice cream?
I used to do ice cream.
Exactly.
That was the best ice
That's
cream
the
ever.
only reason why Rite Aid is still in business is Thrifty's ice cream.
That thing.
And Thrifty's ice cream was made by Carnation.
You know what?
right here in
No, it was
Dallas.
made by.
This is the first fucking genius we've had in here. I had a joke where I went to Thrifty's and the guy goes, "What are you waiting for? To become Rite Aid?"
Yeah.
Hey, Thrifty ice cream was when you got strawberry, it had real fucking strawberries in it.
It did.
Oh, I love the scooper. Have you seen the scoop?
Oh, what the-
it's,
They're selling them now
pipe.
again.
It's a PVC pipe glued to a magnet, and you punch. You literally force the pecans to get in there. Get in there, bitch! And then you pull the scoop and it pulls it out in like a toilet paper roll.
Do you remember that thing that they would dip it in the water to shoot
Like
it
that
again?
water was clean, you know? It's the same water they'd give to a chihuahua on their lunch break. That stuff was epic. But
Do you remember that shit, man?
But it was $1.39 for like one scoop.
A PVC pipe.
My
Man.
daughter couldn't wait to get her hands, and somebody gave her one for last Christmas. Big deal. They're selling them now.
The
And
scooper?
They
the
look like
scooper.
they look like almost fancy feast cans, like they were round.
Yeah, it looks like if you went to Home Depot, you know I think it's called the cock. You know what it's called?
Yeah,
it
like
looks
a cocking gun.
Yeah, it looks like a cocking gun.
Man,
But it works.
Hey, yeah,
It works. They know something Baskin Robbins doesn't. You know.
Hey, and it wasn't a scoop. Like Baskin Robbins was a scoop. They only give you that little pink ass fucking spoon, like for a semen sample, that little ass thing.
Yeah, petri dish. Yeah.
Petri dish. Like if you want somebody to take a sample, wouldn't you want to give them a bigger scoop than just a
Oh, yeah,
fucking-
the little
just a hit?
Yeah,
If you want to know if
exactly.
a joint is good, you don't go. You go.
Yeah, you get your money's worth.
There you go. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I don't even think Thrifty's does samples, do they? It's so cheap. They're like, just buy the fucking flavor.
They just let you look at it. That was
Yeah.
the sample.
They do have little. They still
No.
do have
Oh, they
little,
do?
Hey, that was a sample we were growing up. They let you look at it.
Yeah. But now, because COVID, people are like, we're not doing samples. And I'm like, how does that have to do with anything with samples? You are just cheap.
Look at
You're
there it
saving
is.
money.
There it
Yeah,
is.
there it is.
That looks like it looked like a staple gun with some PVC pipe.
That was it. Somebody who was being innovative
Man.
at home, and then they're like,
Yeah.
I could
Hey, did they
trademark
ever
this shit.
sell those to the general public? Because if they
Yes,
did,
they are.
I'd
They're
fucking
selling
be
them now.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, everybody
Oh,
in
you
my
did?
family
All right.
has one now.
I'm gonna buy you one, man, as a guest.
Please, that
As
would
a
be
guest.
awesome.
All right, I'm buying everybody in this room.
Dude, you got to
Your
make your
sister
own.
right there.
You got to
Yeah.
come out with that.
Oh,
George
bro,
Lopez
that shit
custom one.
shit's nice right there, man.
What was your favorite ice cream growing up?
Orange sherbet,
Ooh.
And
chocolate
the crowd-
chip too, chocolate chip. Because you get 2 for
Thrifty-
1.
From Thrifty's, it was either strawberry or Rocky Road.
Rocky Road. I was just going to say Rocky Road.
Rocky Road too, yeah.
Rocky, the marshmallows
Because you know
didn't
they
taste
had real
real.
marshmallows in there, man, and real like what?
They
were
did
those
have real
almonds?
Almonds.
What were in there?
Almonds.
Almonds.
Yeah, that.
Chocolate, almonds, and marshmallows.
You felt like
If you
got
go,
in the most
where
bang
do you
for
get your
buck.
ice cream these days?
Now it's like some LA shit. You know, like, have you heard of Salt and Straw?
I saw it. Where is that in Silver Lake?
It's one of those places.
But how many are there?
There's a few. There's probably a handful.
But they're not national.
I don't think so. But there's
Salt.
probably a hand-
Hey,
there's
how would
a
an ice
handful.
cream place be named Salt and Straw? Tell the truth.
No, I'd never buy it from there.
Yeah, but I mean that's just because it's near me. But it is tasty. But they do like crazy shit. It's like balsamic and pear, and you're like, I'm not doing all that. I just go there for like just the double Dutch with a little bit of peanut butter. You know what I still love it to this day is Cold Stone. Cold Stone is still a classic.
Cold Stone.
And
all right.
you feel like they're working for it.
All right,
You gotta
so
chop the shit up like a hibachi grill, you know?
It's the fucking ice cream hibachi. So for people that don't know Cold Stone, break it down, man.
So yeah, essentially you pick out the flavor you want, and then they scoop it with I don't even know there's like a metal spatula. Like they're doing hibachi, and then they lay it literally on a cold stone. It's like a frozen countertop.
Almost like a morgue, like if the morgue sold ice cream.
Yeah,
They would
exactly.
be whipping more.
Yeah, and then they just then they spread it out, and then you pick what you want. They put it in there, and
man.
then they just start. They're jumping into the gang. You know, they're just beating the shit out of it.
Like when
Trying
they
not
make
to
taffy and
86
shit like that.
Yeah, so they're just beating the shit out of it, and then they fold it all up, and then they just put it in a cup.
Yo, have you been to Cold Stone?
I've been there once.
And it's got a scent. Cold Stone has a
gotta pay
scent, and you know that scent, right?
Yeah, they do have a scent.
There was a Cold Stone in my
and there's
hometown.
always an old lady that works there. Like everybody's young.
Also, if you tip
And there's
them,
always one.
if you tip them, they have to sing. That's the
No,
worst
they
part.
don't.
That's the worst part about it.
No,
so
they
you
don't.
can hold $1 bill.
No, they
and be
don't.
like,
No,
sing,
they don't.
sing.
No,
I
they
swear,
don't.
I
No,
swear,
they don't.
George, I swear to you. They
If
might
you
have
go to
stopped.
Cold Stone-
They might have stopped, but they at one point that was the thing. Look, listen. If you ever worked there, write in. Let
All right,
George know.
if you ever worked there,
now-
that's not even
now
the
I'm gonna have
number.
to make a
But
trip back.
Yeah, but I think
Have
they
you ever
took
worked-
it out. Probably COVID or something. But it was like Sonic.
shit's hilarious.
Sonic used to be on roller skates. They don't do that anymore. They're not on roller skates.
How come? Why don't you think they did?
I mean, look, if I worked out, I'd ask for a raise every time. I was like, I survived today.
But what about those places, man? How come you think that? What about our culture changed that? Like at Bob's Big Boy over there in Riverside here,
Yeah.
or wherever, like Sonic, they used to skate. What made it about our culture that made those things
Insurance
that were
too expensive? You get hurt on the job.
Yeah, somebody falls.
You
and
fall on the
cracks their
job.
fucking
I'm looking
head.
at my boss and I'm like, oh no, I'm losing memory. All the blood is rushing to my head. And the guy's like, okay, here's a race. Here's a race.
A&W used to have.
Or if you roll up and a
people on roller
dude's
skates.
exposed, he's got his dick out. You're bringing a
Yeah.
number one over there, and he's got his
Yeah.
dick out. Like seriously, that you know.
You may think it's the wrong dip.
But Sonic still has the two dudes in the car, like they're waiting for somebody to roll up to the window.
Oh yeah, Sonic.
For the
Now they
commercials.
just walk it out to your car, but it is still you still pull up into your own individual
Car hop.
drive-through spot, which I like. That's good privacy. Yeah.
Interesting. I would rather prefer, I think, to eat in the car than I would to eat. I think In-N-Out should have that.
They do. They ask you that in the car. They say, "Is this to go or in the
Oh, yeah,
car?"
yeah, they do.
But that sounds like an invasion of privacy.
They
It's
just
like, why
don't
do you
have
care what
that,
I do with this
they
double
just
double?
don't have that big a place to park.
No, but
at
totally they
In-N-Out.
want.
Yeah, that's
hey,
true.
but totally they want to know what you're gonna do.
But
and then they prepare you.
I lie. I'll be like, I got friends at home. They don't ask. I'm like, I got friends at home. And they're like, you got one cheeseburger. I'm like, hey, man, don't worry about it, okay? But it does feel weird to look another man in the eyes and be like, this one's for the car. He's like, what's going on, man? You ain't got time to sit inside? You don't want to talk to strangers?
That's true.
It sounds weird to like just confess to, like, this one's for the car.
All right. So where did you come from? Where were you born?
I was born in Illinois, but only lived for 2 years. I spent a lot
Did you
of my
think
life.
you're a detective? Would you say that he was from Illinois?
I don't even
Why do you
count
sound
it.
Southern like?
I just
don't know.
Why do
Do
you
I
sound-
sound Southern? You saying I sound
He's from
dumb,
white
George?
USA.
No, I'm saying you sound Southern. There's some smart people. Glenn Campbell is a smart motherfucker. He was from
Oh
the
no,
South.
I'm messing with you. My dad's from Ohio. My mom's from the.
But doesn't he sound Southern? Wait.
No, it sounds
I
Southern.
don't think he sounds Southern.
Little Southern. I don't know.
I'd say
Aaron?
Midwest.
But I grew up in.
thought you were from New
Oxnard.
Orleans.
You know Oxnard? I'm from out there.
Oh,
That's
there
where I
you
grew
go,
up.
Oxnard.
Ventura, Camarillo.
See,
Get the fuck out
I
of
bet you
here.
love strawberries.
Bro, I mean, you're a legend
no
out
way,
there,
dude.
bro. That like.
No, but there's no way that I would. Why do you?
Ask my parents. I don't know, because I grew up in Camarillo.
Why do I feel that vibe from?
I don't know.
From you, dude.
First thing I'd have said was
when did you live
Camarillo.
out there?
Camarillo, yeah. You said what?
Because you have the hair.
Oh
it's
yeah.
cool.
But Camarillo is cool because it's by the ocean.
You got the
Like, you're
ocean.
a little
Look
bit
at that.
next
But
Look
to
it's
at
it.
just, but
you got
his
the
voice,
western breeze.
but his voice doesn't sound like anybody that's been out there.
He doesn't sound like he's from. To me, he doesn't sound like.
What do I
he's from the
sound
South.
like?
I think, right?
I'm gonna talk to my therapist about this.
Aaron, what do you say? I think you're a detective. What do you think? What do you think is? I just think it doesn't sound like it's from California.
I'd say Midwestern, but
Dang.
but it's definitely white, and it comes from. If it says Oxnard, I don't know anybody from Oxnard.
Yeah,
I mean,
Camarillo.
definitely
Camarillo.
white. I mean, I didn't
Oh,
say
yeah.
he wasn't
The only,
white.
people,
I'm saying
the only people from Oxnard or Camarillo I know are Mexican boxers. I mean, shit.
that's true. So how did you find your way to stand-up comedy?
My mom actually suggested I do it.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
Really?
it's like a Disney Channel story.
Wait
It's
a minute.
like-
How does fucking everybody's mom says don't fucking do it?
But
Yeah.
I was coming from a place. I was like smoking weed in 8th grade. Like I was not on a good path. But I always
Wait a
loved
minute. Not a
comedy.
good path for what?
I
I think it's a
it
good path for
depends.
stand-up.
100%. It was a good path for what I ended up doing. But yeah, in 8th grade, I was smoking weed out of a light bulb.
Were you smoking? Wait a minute. We're out of what?
Out of a light bulb. I swear to God.
Damn.
Like the dude who showed me how to smoke weed, he broke the glass part of a light bulb, drilled a hole. Anytime you got a drill to smoke weed, that's probably not weed, right?
True.
So he drilled the hole in the bottom of the socket, and then he put a pen cap on it, and then put that. I mean, we used to just make bongs for fun growing up.
Bongs for fun.
I've never heard that one.
Yeah, and then we just put the pen cap, and we put it in like a water bottle. We just put it in here, and then like, you know. So I was more fascinated with that type of stuff. I wasn't really doing a lot, but my mom knew I had like a good personality, and I was at least kind of like always loved comedy and jokes.
But if you're designing bongs with a pen cap and a fucking light bulb,
yeah.
You ought to be working for Tesla or Kia or something.
Thrifty, yeah. I'll make the new fucking the scooper. I was on some meth head shit. I won't even lie. Dude, we used to just make bongs and show each other. Like we'd come to class and be like, "Yo, look at this one." All you had to do was take a pen cap and melt a metal top into it or a socket. My dad would always be like, "Where's all the sockets? The Allen wrench is all misplaced." And I'd be like, "Yeah, I was fixing my tech deck, but I was just smoking weed out of it."
Shit, man. Yeah. And did you build a high tolerance for marijuana or not?
Back then, yeah.
Because I didn't. Have you? You don't smoke weed.
I don't smoke weed.
Yeah, he's a cop.
But he was. But even now as an officer, but he eats a little bit of it. But
edibles.
But I you know, what is it about a person's disposition where they might be able to smoke 5 joints and just not get high, or somebody takes one hit in their fucking
We were just
high.
talking about that. I got friends who, before they leave the house, they take a bong rip, and that's their coffee. It's insane to me. It's
and
like
when
the
you
last
cough,
thing
you open up your capillaries to more. You get higher if you cough.
Yeah, that's the last thing I ever want to do if I smoke is leave the house. Lock me indoors, dim the lights, put the cat to bed, okay?
So have you driven high and forgot where you were going?
Oh, yeah. I've driven high and forgot my own name. Be like, can we get a name for the order? And I'll be like, tomorrow, and then just that's it, you know?
You know, one time I ate like a little bit of a brownie, and we were going to catch a flight, and I was driving down Sunset. I forgot. I was stopped at Jack in the Box right there on Cahuenga. It was open to Cahuenga and Sunset.
Oh, yeah.
And I forgot where I was going. When I got out of the drive-thru, I said, where the fuck am I?
Yeah, your GPS just said home, you know?
I was going to Van Nuys, to Millionaire in Van Nuys. I forgot where the fuck I was going.
Yeah, man, it's so I was
so let's say that was weed before weed was legal or not legal or used.
This is when you had to hit up somebody who had an older brother at the time.
Yeah,
be like,
and what
Derek's
about
got a Miata.
And what about now that it's legal? Are you considering your own line, or do you have your own line?
I think that'd be cool. I've been offered to do like my own line of weed. You know, I just I don't think I smoke as much as people would think I do. I'll smoke probably like a couple times a month.
But that's also a thing too. Like if you talk about it, people think that you smoke all the time because you have you know, like your recall or whatever you say about it is almost like on point. So people would think like, oh, this guy must smoke every day. And
Yeah. No, I mean, I'd be down to do, or I'd come out with some line that's like an edible version, whether it's like a drink or a gummy or like a gum or something. Like there's crazy shit. I just found out there's toothpicks that have caffeine and nicotine in them for people who are trying to quit cigarettes. I'm like, there's so many levels of like integration. I'd be coming out with like weed toothpicks. That'd be awesome.
Okay, you know what? I didn't know there was caffeine toothpicks, but if there were THC toothpicks or CBD and THC toothpicks, now we're talking about.
There you go.
That's fun stuff, you know?
New business, George.
A few years ago, somebody asked me, a guy said, what would you create that's not out there? And I said, I would create a Vicks version of CBD and THC, which I have that.
Yeah. Oh, the rub.
A rub. And it works, right?
I use it. I swear by it. Put some on last night. I love it.
Aches and pains and all that goes
Aches and pains, just like whatever you'd use Vicks for. If you had a cough, last night I was rubbing it on my chest before I went to bed.
Nice.
I've had
and it works. It works. Dude.
Feels good.
And it's yours?
It's mine.
Dang.
And there's other things out there, but I'm not sure if I haven't tried a lot of other things. But the ones that I did try, I don't believe worked as well as the one that I created.
That's awesome. You have a lot of stuff in the cannabis industry?
There's some joints and stuff.
Nice.
But the sana, I call it sana because all the Mexican moms would be going the sana colita de rana. And that one, the guy, it just came out. The guy was at my tournament. And he said that there's 56 places in California that have it, and he said that people go in there and would just buy whatever they have. Like they go in there like at Cold Store. I'll take whatever you got. whatever fucking cookies you got. When you know, I had a friend of mine that worked on my first show, Bobby, and he was into that Vienna coffee. Remember those Vienna coffees?
Yeah.
And they stopped making them, and he went and bought every motherfucking container of Vienna coffee because he hasn't been able to wake up every morning and not have it. So he's got 1,000 containers in his house.
Damn, I should have done that with Four Loko when they started banning the original ones, the ones with caffeine in them.
Yo, hey, did you ever drink a Four Loko?
Oh yeah, you did, because when those came out, I was in high school. So like, because I was smoking weed early, I was drinking in 8th grade. So we talk about I was on a great path. I was smoking and drinking like every weekend. So in high school, like my sophomore year, we'd drink a Four Loko and then go to a women's volleyball game and just start yelling. But for us, that was like the best highlight ever, you know?
This guy reminded me so much. He looks so young. I have a grandson, 22 years old.
Yeah.
Looks just like you. He's
I've been
out
meaning
there.
to tell you this. I'm your grandson, yeah.
There you go.
You have somebody like this in your family?
Yes, I think
Party
so.
kid.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm glad I got that all out of me because, you know, I did that. Then I ended up going to college.
Is it all out of you? Are you sure?
For the most part, yeah. Because like now I'm like I just, you know, I'm cool having like a nice drink and then that's it. You know, I'm not getting too crazy or wild anymore.
And what do you think? What do you think curbed your?
I think I got it all out of me.
Can somebody get it all out of them?
I think so. All I really care about is like my career and just like trying to be the best I can be as a comedian. And
I like
keep
that.
it
There
going.
you go.
I
You
never
did
said
it.
that. I never said that.
He did it.
I've never said
Really?
No.
Damn. I think I got like I saw the snowball start to build up and I was like, oh, we got some momentum. Let's keep this thing going.
Yeah.
And I just, you know, that for me, I think everybody's got a vice. For me, that's the vice is chasing the dragon, get more views, get more shows, get better.
I appreciate. You know what? This is the first person that we've had in here since we started this thing almost a year and a half ago that I've heard that sat in that chair that said, I had this, I want to chase the dragon, I want to do that and that.
Yeah.
Okay, so where was the first place that you decided to do? What
probably
was the
done
first
the
place
first
that you wrote something, and what led you to the first? Just only talk about what from the first pen to paper, or computer or whatever, to your first performance. And where was that at?
You probably have done the club, the Ventura Harbor Comedy Club.
Yes.
You ever done that?
Yeah, sure. But what made you get there? Like,
okay,
what
so
was
so
it
my
finally?
mom cut out this thing in the paper.
Man,
it's literally
your
a scene
mom did
from a movie. It's like it doesn't seem real. She cut out a scene in the paper, and it was like there's a 6-week stand-up comedy workshop class at the Ventura Harbor Comedy Club. You should check this out. But when you're 18. Or sorry, 17. When you're 17, you don't care about what your parents are saying. I was like, yeah, whatever, Mom, that's stupid. And then like one night, I was just like thinking about it. I was like, I'll give it a shot. I'll check it out. You know, like it's got to be something. You know.
And who taught that thing?
This guy Randy Lubis.
Yeah, I know Randy Lubis.
Yeah, he's been in the industry forever. He did Heavy Road Dog, then did a bunch of cruise ships and everything. But he also owned the comedy club. So we went there, and it was 6 weeks. It was every Saturday, and then you'd be there for like 4 hours, and he would just do he would like hand you like a newspaper, and then be like, all right, write a joke out of that. Okay, what are some big events in your life? How can I help you write a joke? So essentially, over 6 weeks, they help you write a 5-minute set. All right.
Oh wow.
And I remember the set was 3 topical jokes up front, and then a story about how I went to the courthouse in Oxnard for a skateboarding ticket. I didn't have a helmet on while I was skateboarding, and the guy next to me was there for Grand Theft Auto. And it was so funny because I was one of the only white kids in the courtroom. And my neighbor told me that if you bring a helmet to the courthouse, when you get a helmet ticket, they excuse you. And the guy before me, full on, had like a mustache and everything. We're all 15, getting there for Grand Theft Auto. He's like, I plead, I didn't do it. I'm not guilty, this and that. It was a big dramatic moment. And then I stood up and I held up a helmet and I was like, I brought my helmet with me. And it's just, I'll never forget that moment because everyone's there for real crimes, and I was there for a skateboarding ticket.
Damn.
Did you get off?
I got off, yeah. I avoided like $100 ticket, but I got off for the ticket, and it was in Oxnard, California. And I told a story about that, just what it was like being next to people who were just like for real committed crimes. And
but did the ability for you to recall that situation and in a humorous way just naturally come to you? Because I think like any writer in the beginning, you're looking at a page, let's say this big, and then the more you write, you're really looking
there's probably a lot of
looking at something more specific.
Yeah,
which I think if you're more specific as a detective, as a comedian, or as anybody wanting to get into business, if somebody asks you a question, the more you ramble, the less they're interested.
Yeah, because
the more specific you are. I would talk about, my first thing was like, when I did Why You Crying, they would say, well, why did you pick Why You're Crying? Because my grandmother would always say, why are you crying? And then she would fucking hit me, and if my ear was bleeding, she would say like, oh, you walked in here like that. Like it was just very specific.
Yeah.
And for
Yeah.
me, I was less of a guy that would drag on and more of somebody that just got to the point.
Yeah, I think I had all the tools to bring stuff to the table. Then it was like dusting off dinosaur bones.
Yeah.
Like, okay, there's good shit here. We just got to get rid of that. The topical stuff up front, I think I got a knack for it pretty quick. He was like, oh, okay. Oh, you're able to make the comparison. So I think in my head, it like that part clicked. So I knew I was like, there's funny in this story. I just got to find the moments. I have the set somewhere on. My mom has on like a VHS or DVD.
So here's the joke. So Will Smith slaps Chris Rock, and that dude attacks Chappelle. Tell better jokes.
Come on.
You can't. That's
No,
There
there's
you go.
that's
There's nothing.
There's nothing funnier than that.
Tell better jokes.
Oh, right now, that's an activity.
No. I mean, if you say, oh, why did Will Smith slap Chris Rock? Why did that guy attack Dave Chappelle?
First thing Chris
Tell better
Rock said
jokes.
when the guy attacked Dave Chappelle, he says, did you check? Was that Will Smith?
Oh, I was there. I was at that Chappelle show. Yeah, I saw it happen. It was not. Nobody thought it was real.
Nobody thought.
See, because like as this was going on, everybody thought that this was like Dave just being Dave, you know?
Yeah.
But then the lights went dark and they took the dude back there, and then things got quiet.
They stomped that motherfucker in front of
Stomped
everybody
him
too.
out. I think everybody was getting kicks in there. I think Dave, because Dave
Oh,
came
yeah,
back
yeah.
and he's like, I never stomped somebody out in my like 37 years of career or whatever he said, but I think Dave was throwing a few kicks back there too.
Yeah, Dave looked like he wanted to go back there.
I think everybody should have. It was wild.
But also, we're all susceptible to that at some point. Or now, especially now, it's not that was new. Hecklers have been hecklers forever.
Oh yeah.
But also, I would just say, if you worry about your own path, you have more focus than if you worry about everyone else's path.
Correct.
Yeah. And a lot of times, comedians are worried about what everybody else is doing.
It's hard not to be.
And it's hard not to be.
Yeah.
But also, just do your own thing, and
That's when I really feel like
be
I started
bold,
to
and the
take
mighty
off.
forces will come to your aid.
Yeah, stop focusing on everybody else, what they were doing, and what the traditional route was. Because I make a lot of videos online, and the videos help propel me way faster than stand-up. So it's like, I had probably 25 minutes of material. These videos start taking off online, and now people are like, dude, you should just headline. Go sell your own tickets. You'll make money. You can quit your day job. And now I'm trying to figure out how to compile a headlining set. And then like a year and a half later, I'm not even worried about the shit I was worried about a year before, because now I'm doing my own thing. I'm like selling my own tickets. I'm promoting myself. I got an agent. I got a manager. I'm really just trying to do
Nobody
the
tell me
damn
what
thing.
Dana Carvey told me in 1987.
What's that?
When Dana Carvey was at the Ice House in 1987, he didn't even actually finish the week because he was doing Wise Guys with Kirk Douglas and Burt Lancaster were both gone. And he got like 3 encores the night before. And he was doing this movie at Paramount, and I said to him, what made you so funny? And he said, it's attitude. Like,
Yeah,
it's
oh,
attitude.
your
You believe it,
confidence.
they believe it.
Yeah.
But also, I said, how do you remember all that stuff? And he said, in compartments. Like, if a box had the opening, if a box had Oh My God High, then a box had ATC, and a box had this beer, that's 30 minutes. A box about this, a box about that, and a box about this.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? To me, because I was a categorical comedian, the minute you started to put the opening in a box and about the doctor in a box and about allergies in a box,
Yeah, you find the flow.
that you found the flow.
Yeah.
And you can't find the flow connecting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
No.
or 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But you can find the flow connecting 1, 10, 10, 20, 20, 30.
Yeah, and it takes so long, and you watch some people. It's the whole story from the moment they grab the mic, and I'm sure you're this way too. The moment you grab the mic to the moment you end, there's this great through line of just like, what are the last couple of years of your life looking like, or whatever it is. And I see some guys, and there's some guys out there that are so good at it. And then, as you find these segues, and you have to be. It's so hard to go from talking about like, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches to your girlfriend's breast reduction. You're like, how the fuck do we get from here to here?
But you know what,
But you
man?
find a way.
But you know what? When you have the confidence, you can take the liberty
Confidence.
of doing it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and there's
That
no
you-
right or wrong
that-
way to do it too.
No, that's right. So whatever whatever anybody's particular style would be, when you're in charge, you can tell somebody what it's going to be. And like guys would go up and say, "Hey, how's everybody doing tonight?" Dana Carvey said, "Fuck all that shit. You go up there and you tell them how it's going to be.
Yeah,
they don't
yeah.
tell you how it's going to be. And that sets the precedent as somebody with that a fucking mamon. Hey, how about a nice round of applause for the camera here? Wasn't it great? Fuck that shit. You just go up there and you just start to deploy your will on them.
Yeah.
And not them telling
everybody
you.
starts, how's everybody doing tonight? There's nothing special about that. But last night I went up Mother's Day. I said, where are all the MILFs at? Just right out the gate.
Right there. That's
just
what
to let them know.
that's
Oh,
what-
this is. But it catches people off guard too.
I would,
you know?
that's what I'm
where
saying.
were
That,
they?
hey,
They were not there. They were not at the
they're-
Hollywood
they're-
Improv
and
at
then
7 p.m.
that's what I'm saying. Like that, I would watch you. That's what I would
But it
respond
takes
to.
a while. It takes a while, you know, to.
But also,
to get
if it
comfortable.
comes to you in the car or if it comes to you in the hallway of the improv and you trust
Yeah.
yourself, say it.
The trust is big. Yeah.
Say
The
it.
trust is big. And some of the best, it's a high risk, high reward type thing, is if the act before you said something and then you get a tag off that coming in, you know, like they say something about just like if you said something about like this annoying white kid in your neighborhood, then I came up and I was like, oh, what's up? I'm that annoying white kid. They'd be like, then you can ride that wave.
Well done.
All right, everybody. The legends who introduced the electric ball hair trimmer are back, bringing their razor to you so you can be set and trimmed from front to back. That's right, Manscaped is back. And men, you no longer have to borrow your lady's razor for that nice, precise trim. You can get all those hard-to-reach areas, hard-to-see areas, no ingrown hairs, no cuts, no none of that bad stuff. So, there's a handy 4-step process here from your friends at Manscaped. Step 1, grab your handy lawnmower 4.0 and give your boys the classic trim to your liking to get the loose hairs out of the way. And then take out the Manscaped, this is the new thing, the Ultra Smooth package to make your package the perfect package for this summer. Step 2, you grab the Crop Exfoliator, infused with ingredients that can soothe, clear, and keep the skin on and around your groin feeling refreshed. The Crop Exfoliator can help reduce the risk of ingrown hairs in your delicate places. You don't want an ingrown hair anywhere, let alone in a delicate place. Step 3 in the process, Crop Gel. See where you're shaving with our unique clear shaving gel just for the groin with 4 essential oils. It's like a spa treatment every time you shave. Be good to yourself, boys. And then step 4, of course, you shave. The Crop Shaver was designed for shaving the groin area with confidence. 3 precision blades include extra wide lubricating strips and a pivoting head for the ultimate groin grooming experience. This is the good stuff. So if you want to take advantage of that and all the other great products that Manscaped has to offer, you can get 20% off and free shipping with the code OMGHI at manscaped.com. That is 20% off plus free shipping with the code OMGHI at manscaped.com. Smooth out your fellas with the relaunched Ultra Smooth package from the fellas at Manscaped, and your balls will thank you.
Let me say this. In 1979, there was a comedian named Billy Brown. He's probably not around. This was fucking 100 years ago. And Billy Brown was doing a stand-up at the Comedy Store in Westwood. And Billy Brown was talking about how Mexicans didn't look like they had feet. Like they looked like they just went around on wheels. And they just kind of, he was doing the poses and stuff. And then 3 guys later, I went up there and I said, and this, I'm fucking 18 years old.
Yeah.
I said, Billy Brown was up here and he said that Mexicans don't have feet. Well, he knows different because I put this one in his ass. And they went crazy. And that's the first time, because I just started, that I ever thought about saying something about somebody that went before me.
Yeah.
And that's what I said.
That's why it's like, you know, it's if you pay attention beforehand, you can play off that. Some people don't like to pay attention because then you get in your head, or you're like, oh, I have a joke like that, I can't do that joke, or they're not laughing hard.
Or just even pay attention on the side. Like, you don't
last
have to be
couple
fucking
minutes.
riveted to somebody.
Sure.
But also, man, like, you know, I think the way that you think and the way that you are is, you love comedy, right?
I do.
Wouldn't you go see this dude?
Oh,
Anywhere.
Anywhere.
Because you just have that vibe, man.
Yeah,
you have a
thank
more
you.
confident vibe than people that have been in here.
Yeah.
They're more a little bit like, they're not as, I would say, what would you say?
I don't know what I'd say. I just know that his
Your vibe
confidence
is cool.
His confidence going up there and how he plays off people and what he does.
It's just knowing your act. And it takes a long time to find
and
out what
it's
you are. You know,
knowing
it's
what the
like-
people, when you're playing to the people, what they want.
Yeah, I got a note early on in comedy when I first moved here. I auditioned there was a show at like Flappers, and I did an audition there, and I was getting laughs. And afterwards, I asked the booker, he was doing like notes, if you want notes, and I went up there and I had a good set, and it was like 5 minutes, whatever. And I was like, so, you know, because I'm trying to get booked, I was like, what'd you think? He's like, you get laughs, but there's nothing to it about you. There's no personalization. And I got like mad. I was like, what do you mean? I was like, I did well, right? Then I sat on, I was like, man, whatever. He doesn't give a shit. And then as I like grew on, I was like, those jokes could have been from anyone. There's nothing unique to it about me.
Okay.
And then I like learned that it's like,
So-
it's got to be you.
You want to talk about shit that's crazy? So in the early 90s at Caroline's, I was headlining Caroline's, and Dave Becky came, and Michael Rotenberg was the head of 3 Arts, and Chris Rock was represented by Michael Rotenberg, and I was over there, and Dave Becky worked at the Improv in San Diego, and he was in New York, and he said, "Hey, can I come and see you?" And the guy in the middle was kind of killing me every night, and then we went backstage at Caroline's in the last room where I saw Gilbert, a few years ago, and he said to me, "Can I give you some constructive criticism?" I said, "Yeah." And he says, "When I watch you, there's nothing about you that tells me anything about you. Like, I don't know what you like. I don't know what your politics are. I don't know who you are. I don't know who your family is." The same thing. So in fucking the early 90s. And he said mundane. And I was like, fucking mundane.
Yeah, those words will hit you. You're like, I don't even know how to spell that shit.
He goes, there has to be somebody in your family that had something, or he goes, and he said, when I watch Chris, like when you see Chris Rock, you know what he's about politically, you know where he's at this way, you know he's at that. And when I see you, I just don't see that. Same thing the person said to you. Went back to the hotel, and I thought, yeah, this motherfucker's right. First of all, you have to fucking think that it's right. And started talking about my grandmother, and started talking about my family, and the rest
It's history.
is, I don't know. I mean,
I've
done well.
But it is a weird note because you're like, what do you mean? I was funny. The people laughed. But it's like,
But
That's
to
what-
remember you.
that's what it changes like comedian versus like somebody who does comedy. It's like the
So people
comedian
get in
level's
the car.
highest.
We would say they get in the car and they go, "Hey, that second guy was good, huh? What did he say? What about the guy? Oh, what about the guy that was talking about the MILFs?" And they remember that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's the shit that you want
The
to be
unique
like.
stories and the
what did-
family stuff,
Yeah,
yeah.
and nobody would on a Mother's Day. Well, not a lot of people would on Mother's Day would go out there and say that.
Yeah.
It's risky, and sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't. Like somebody, I went on when I was on in Conan in the '90s, and I walked out there and I said, "Hey man, Latinos are a lot of different colors. We're blonde, we have blue eyes, we're dark, we're light skinned." I said, "We'll fuck anybody," but everybody's like, "Beep." I was like, I thought it was funny.
I thought it was funny.
But it's like when you take the risk for yourself.
Yeah.
Nobody can tell you to take the risk. They
Yeah.
can only give you the advice.
Oh, yeah.
And whether you take the risk or not, just like an instinct. If you're a detective, you have an instinct that said, "Hey, you know what? I think this guy's bullshitting me." Or have we
Yeah,
talked to this
instinct.
neighbor over here? It's your instinct that gets you by
yeah.
really everything.
The confidence is key. If somebody told me like, if you're not confident in your own material, why would they be confident in you? If you're flubbing lines and you're shaky and you don't know about a bit, but you're gonna try it out, they can read your
right.
facial expression.
So when you write stuff now that you're more that how much time do you think you have like overall, all in all?
probably like, if we're talking everything, probably like 2 hours.
All right.
Because on the road I do an hour, and so I mean, if I pulled everything, probably over.
But do you do an hour on the road? Do you know an hour? Is it the same hour, or do you change it as you go?
I would
Do you
say like
flow?
80% is the same,
Okay.
and then in the middle,
And then
the middle is where I throw in some new shit or I
Hey.
add some tags. That's where you gotta.
I like this guy.
I was never because I feel like if I'm never changing the set, I'm not growing as a
And
comedian.
you record every set?
Yeah, audio and film
Hey,
it.
I've been recording every set since 1979.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you listen to it back, and it's the most painful thing ever.
I have cassettes. Remember when you were in your car and you used to have the case of cassettes when you open it?
Yeah.
Cassettes. This is how fucking long this is how long I've been doing comedy, eh? Fucking Memorex, motherfucker. TDK cassettes I have with my shit on them from the Comedy Store or the
and that's audio, or is that like VHS?
audio.
Damn.
No, it was even before VHS.
I mean, that's the best part because you riff a brand new bit. This happened the other night. I forgot to hit record before I went up because I thought I was in two, and I got called up, riffed the whole bit, and I don't know how I did it, and I don't
Okay.
have the audio, and I'm like,
Let me tell you this. In 1981, on a Saturday night, me and my friend Ernie, God rest his soul, went to the Comedy Store, and there was a canary yellow Rolls Royce. I think I told the story here. In front of the Comedy Store, idling. It was on, and somebody said, "That's Richard Pryor," and I said, "No, it's not." And I looked over far away. It was Richard Pryor. So Ernie said, "Go say hello to him." And I moved, and when I got close enough to see if it was Richard Pryor, he had a micro cassette recorder to his ear, and he was rewinding and forwarding his set from the main room. And I backed up like this, and he said, "What happened?" And I said, "I saw all I need to see."
He's working.
And I didn't.
love that,
I
man.
didn't bother him. I let him work.
It's something awesome when you see like the pros and the legends doing the same thing that you do or the same thing that they started out doing. You know, I've seen Bill Burr go up at the Comedy Store and he's got a notebook and he's looking at it and he has that same look where he's like, this might bomb. He goes, all right, let's try this, you know?
Exactly.
But it's the same, everything falls down to the same
I love
base.
that. And you know what? And then I eventually, knew Richard Pryor and thanked him for, and I told him that I'd seen that. But also, I was never a guy that could take a note up because I couldn't read that good in front of people.
Yeah.
Or if I even had put notes down on the ground that I thought I could read, in the emotion of doing stand up, I would look down and just see a blur.
Yeah.
So I would be more of somebody that wanted to remember more things than I could.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I
then-
remember getting started in stand up being like, I can barely remember 5 minutes. How do people do this for like an hour? It's an insane thing to remember all that, but it's just muscle memory. You know, it just gets hammered away in your head.
So when like you remember, how do you remember every date of every crime and all that stuff that
Well, I lived through
like
it.
this,
It's
like
just
this?
there.
What day did you capture the Night Stalker?
August 31st, 1985.
Boom. But your life revolved around that event
Yeah,
for
it did
so
at
long.
At that time.
And what did you do the next day?
Next day was September 1st. My went back to work. We had my cousin's wedding that night. I said,
Oh fuck you!
You went straight from that to the wedding?
yeah, I went straight from the
Were
arrest.
people
to the
just
wedding
bowing
that night.
at you when you walked in?
They walked
They did-
in. There was a nice wedding. It was at the Pasadena Hilton.
Want another beer, cabrón?
And so when I got there, people were saying, "Oh, that's him, that's him, that's him."
I mean-
and I didn't know because I was working. I wasn't watching the news that much. And then I went in and I saw my family. We hugged. I saw my mom.
Imagine.
We cried.
Damn.
I said, "It's over with." I hugged where's my wife? She came down. So I went
Man.
and said hello, and I told my cousin, I told my wife, it's his wedding.
Yeah.
I don't want to take anything away from him. I want to go up to the room. I want to be alone.
Is he still married or not?
Wow.
She died.
Oh, damn.
She died. Her early Alzheimer's set in, so she's dead, so he's still alive.
So I'm sorry. You probably said this 100 times. How do you guys know each other? You
It
probably
was
say this all the time.
because of him following true crime.
Oh, wow.
He saw
So
the
you're big.
documentary.
So a year and a half ago, when the Night Stalker documentary went on Netflix, my publicist, who's my friend, said, "Have you seen the Night Stalker documentary?" I said, "No, I'd already seen it 4 times. I watched it 4 times. I just want to tell her no." And then I said, "Well, I got to get Gil on the show, right?" So his partner, Frank Salerno, on the documentary had worked with me. I had him do something for me in 2009, and I call Frank, and he goes, "Hello." I said, "Frank, it's George Lopez. Hi." Very matter of fact. I said, "Hey, do you have a contact for Gil Carrillo?" He's like, "Well, I do." I said, "Can I give you my number, man?" Give it to him. He's like, "Yeah." And then I think somebody called me, or did I call them?
You put it out on the podcast. A friend of mine called me up and it says, "Have you heard this? I just heard on the radio George Lopez said anybody know Gil Carrillo wants to give it." So I called in. I spoke with George. First contact with him was about 45 minutes long.
And we felt like we had known each other forever.
Yeah,
it-
that's what I'm
it's
saying. That chemistry,
Yeah,
like
Just
you know?
really, really good. He wanted me to go out golfing with him, and I don't golf.
I ask everybody if they golf.
Hell
If
yeah.
I saw Charles Manson come back from the dead, I would say, "Do you golf?" He's like, "No,
And I
I'm
said,
dead."
"Shit, I can't even
Yeah.
get that ball by the windmill."
Yeah,
thing."
but when George Lopez asks you golf, you golf.
Yeah,
I'll tell you, you'll
I-
learn.
I-
You'll look up a
so-
YouTube video.
So I think we have a lot of the same, I like that. A lot of the same similarities. Like you work very old school, which a lot of comedians don't.
Yeah.
I would say a lot of comedians don't.
I think, I try to play both. I try to do the no school like mentality, but also the same with the new school like social media and trying to like use that to like, it's so hard to, like if you think about it, if you're just doing stand up to an audience of 200 people every night, like that's
Right.
that's just 200 people you can see
Yes,
it. But you
that's
tape that
right.
set
That's what we did.
and that one weird interaction you had with the bachelorette party goes
Yeah.
viral. That's 5 million people seeing it. It's like,
That's right.
it's using both. You never disrespect the field of stand-up, because you have that respect for all that and coming up through it, and you respect that it takes time to get good. And I still think I got years to go to get better,
takes
but I've
time
been
to
doing
get
this
good.
like 8 years, so I'm like, let's just put a camera in there and see what happens.
But do you know what makes somebody good? I'll tell you because I've been doing it for 43 years.
Damn.
Is that when you're on stage or when you're on a case, or whether you're a doctor or a fucking dentist or whatever you are, that the natural instinct that you have, you follow it.
Yeah.
Like if you have, because when you're up there, you might want to say something to somebody, and then for a minute you say, do I say it or do I not say it?
Oh, yeah. You
And
gotta
sometimes
go.
you say it and sometimes you don't. Maybe you say it later.
Yeah.
But that navigation of your own triggers or your own instincts is what's going to make somebody memorable, as opposed to somebody who would say, I had if somebody came afterwards and said, that guy right there did that, you go, oh man, I was going to say something to him, but you didn't.
Right.
And that's the difference between somebody being great and somebody being so-so.
Hey, everybody, thanks for tuning in to part 1 of this two-part episode. Part 2 coming next week. Be sure to check that out. As always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, just engage with this content however you can. It's really helpful for George, really helpful for the show. Tell your friends, tell your enemies. It doesn't matter as long as we spread the word. So thanks for checking it out, and we'll see you next time.